Rangers this is huge. Another refereeing disgrace. Nick Walsh messes up, but instead of punishment, he gets rewarded. Where's Column's so-called accountability? Fans slammed as a disgrace after the Ibrox fallout. Was it too far or just pure frustration? James Tavernier's future in doubt. No new contract talks. Are Rangers pushing out a legend? Derek McInnes to replace Clement? Ambition or disaster? And Galatasaray's boss admits they tried to sign Ianis Hagi. Could he be on his way out? Let's get into it. Rangers once again left counting the cost of baffling refereeing decisions, while Celtic's pals in the corridors of power keep their own protected. Nick Walsh, the man at the center of the farcical decision to send off Mohamed Diomande at Tannadice, has faced no real consequences unless you count being handed a Celtic match at Parkhead as some sort of punishment. It seems accountability only exists in Willie Collum's speeches, not in practice. Let's be honest. You've seen this script before. The promises, the big words, the supposed crackdowns on incompetence. Yet Rangers find themselves on the receiving end of blunder after blunder, month after month. Collum stood there at the start of the season, chest puffed out, declaring that under his watch, referees would be held responsible for their mistakes, that VAR would improve, that match officials would be better protected from scrutiny by simply doing their jobs right. But here we are. Walsh, the man who ignored his own VAR team's advice to review an obvious mistake, is not sitting in the cold for a few weeks to reflect. He's walking into another big fixture. Where's the deterrent? Where's the lesson learned? If managers are judged on results, then how exactly should Collum and his refereeing department be judged? Because if he was held to the same standards as a Rangers boss, he'd be out the door by now. Do you believe Scottish refereeing errors are simply down to incompetence, or is there something more sinister at play when it comes to decisions against Rangers? As passionate as ever, have come under fire from journalist Scott McDermott for making their feelings clear after that humiliating Scottish Cup exit to Queen's Park. Now, let's not sugarcoat it. Losing at home to a second-tier side is an absolute shambles. Philippe Clement now holds the unwanted record of being the first Rangers manager to oversee such a disaster. And for a club that demands nothing less than excellence, you can understand why tempers flared outside Ibrox. McDermott called the reaction a disgrace, arguing that Clement deserves more respect. But here's the thing, Rangers fans don't demand respect, they demand results. This isn't some mid-table club where failure is brushed aside with a shrug. This is Rangers, and getting dumped out of the cup by Queen's Park is the type of result that lingers like a bad smell. That said, the bigger disgrace isn't what was said outside Ibrox, it's the performance on the pitch that forced fans into that reaction. Clement came in with a reputation, but let's be real, Belgian league titles don't mean much when you're losing cup ties at Ibrox to part-time opposition. If the board remains silent and Clement stays in charge despite this, what message does that send? Has Rangers board lost its winning mentality by accepting mediocrity? Or does Clement still deserve time to turn it around? James Tavernier and Rangers, nearly a decade of service, countless goals, assists, and moments that will live forever in Ibrox folklore. But now the question looms, is his time in Glasgow coming to an end? At 33, Tavernier remains one of the most influential players in the squad, still contributing goals and assists from right back. But with Philippe Clement's ongoing mission to inject youth into the side, the club's reluctance to extend his deal beyond 2026 speaks volumes. The rebuild is in full swing, and while experience matters, so does planning for the future. Yet here's the thing, Rangers have struggled to find a true successor to Tavernier. Dujon Sterling, talented as he is, hasn't been able to maintain fitness long enough to truly challenge for that spot. So if Tavernier goes, who steps up? Who fills the void of a captain who's carried this team through highs and lows, leading from the front in goals and assists. There's an argument that Rangers should be ruthless, that sentimentality should never get in the way of progress. But is moving on from a player who is still producing and has been central to everything Rangers do really the right call? Would letting Tavernier leave now be a step forward for Rangers, or would it be one of the biggest mistakes in recent years? Derek McInnes to Rangers, surely this is a wind-up. Mark Guidi reckons the Kilmarnock boss is the man to take Rangers forward, but let's be brutally honest, does that scream ambition? Philippe Clement's reign is under serious pressure after that disgraceful Scottish Cup exit to Queen's Park, and while the Belgian has shown flashes of promise, this latest disaster has many questioning whether he can truly lead Rangers glory. If a change is coming, and it needs to be a step up, not a step sideways or backwards, McInnes, a former Rangers player, knows the club inside out. That much is true. He's experienced, he's a safe pair of hands, and he's done well with the resources at his disposal. But Rangers do not need a safe pair of hands. We need a manager who will restore the club to the top, who will demand trophies, who will build a squad capable of dominating Celtic, not just competing with them. Is McInnes that man, or is this just another example of lowering expectations? If Rangers are to change managers again, should it not be for a proven winner at the highest level rather than someone who has spent his career scrapping in the Scottish Premiership? Would appointing McInnes show a lack of ambition, or is he genuinely the right man to get Rangers back on top? Yanis Hadji to Galatasaray. Well, it seems the Turkish giants have had their eyes on the Romanian playmaker for quite some time. Galatasaray boss Okan Buruk has made it clear they wanted him before. They still admire him, and they believe he will wear their colors one day. Now, Hadji's connection to Galatasaray runs deep. Born in Istanbul, while his father, the legendary Gheorghe Hagi, was lighting up Turkish football, it's no surprise that there's a sentimental pull, but let's get one thing straight. He's a Rangers player, and right now Rangers need him. After that long injury spell, Hagi has worked his way back into shape, and when given the chance, he has shown flashes of the creative spark that Rangers often lack. Yet, with his contract running down, questions remain. Does Rangers see him as part of the future, or will they cash in? Galatasaray's interest isn't going away, and if Rangers hesitate, they might just get their man. But should Rangers be looking to offload a player with undeniable talent, or should Hagi be given a proper chance to prove himself in a Rangers shirt once again? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.